Good evening, good evening, good evening. How y'all doing? If it wasn't for technology, well, where would we be? Hey, listen, it's me. It's your boy. I'm back. I know last Sunday, we took a little hiatus. We sat back and we let God do him. We celebrated Resurrection Sunday because we all appreciate what Jesus did on Calvary's cross. Tonight I got a special guest, but my special guest is having a few technical difficulties. So until she's able to come on, y'all got me. And I'm out here today being a domestic. Y'all, many of y'all don't know this, but I got a new tenant that lives with me, Daryl Jr. He's down the hall, and he came to me earlier, and I was sitting down minding my own grown man business. He asked me. He said, "Are you cooking today?" I was like, "What?" He said, "Are you cooking today?" I was like, I didn't think I was, but okay." So now I had to do an order. He went and picked it up, and so I made some smothered steak and some mashed potatoes and some gravy and some biscuits and all that type of stuff. And I was messaging a couple of people about it, and they was like, "Well, what's the vegetable?" I put some chives on top of the potatoes. That's my vegetable. I had time for all that. I knew I had stuff to do today. So y'all got me. So what y'all want to talk about? How y'all doing? First of all, let me say this. The big story this week is the story between the NFL and Shedeur Sanders. Uh, Let me just say, points were made, but points didn't need to be made. I've noticed I'm a realist. I tell the truth about certain things. And and what happened over the last couple of days was ridiculous. This is my platform. I can say what I want to say. It was some straight up bullshiggity, because you can't look at a person like that, and you can't look at a player like that and say that he's not worth what it is that he was supposed to be getting. And I mean, by most experts' opinion, he was supposed to be coming off number two as the number two quarterback in the draft. How you doing, Pastor Sherry? He was supposed to be coming off number two as the number two quarterback in the draft. So, with that, for this man to fall to the fourth round or whatever the case may be, that was some foolishness, and I don't know why people were trying to quote unquote prove a point to this young man about he needed to be humble, he needed to be have humility or things like that. Of course, I'm old enough for Shadeur's dad. And if I was a dad, if I was his dad in his shoes, I would feel some type of way. And I don't know what it is that people were expecting from his dad when his dad has his hands full with his full-time job as a head coach at University of Colorado. I don't get it. But business is business, and sometimes business ain't always pretty. And a lot of times people will tank your stock, so to speak, or make you look bad. Major Turner, how you doing, my brother? God bless you, man. People will quote unquote tank your stock to make to make it seem as if though you're not valuable enough. And I've been reading comments and things like that. People are saying, "Oh, like he really needs the money." This young man told us in interviews all along the way, his dad doesn't take care of him like you guys think he does. And a lot of families aren't like that. A lot of families, yeah. If when I become, when I get my first million, I had already promised God that was for him. I'm going to give it to him, give it away, give it to him. But the million after that, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to finance my children's lives. That doesn't mean I'm going to finance my family's lives. You got to be smart. You got to be wise. Yes, he may have an inheritance coming on when his father goes home to be with the Lord. However, on this earth or in this earth, he has to make a way for himself. And to say that this man and all that he's accomplished over the years wasn't worth going in the first round, which everybody who ever watched college football saw, the man got sacked 49 times. If you don't understand what that means somebody hit him on the opposing team 49 times this past college season, and still never complained. he still never castigated his offensive line. He went with his father's vision in college sports and said, "Hey, Dad, we're rocking with you no matter what happened." Him and his brother Shiloh and Travis Hunter for that matter. And furthermore, even about Travis, they took the time to pretty much shade his success by keep talking about how his dad had to get probation to get permission from his PO to come to his son's draft night. Now, I ain't saying that it's racist. I ain't saying that it's I'm not saying that it's you singling these people out. But what I am saying is no other quarterback had to go through this, especially one that was rated as high as this young man. No other, well, there haven't been many two-way players. No other Heisman Trophy winner has gone through this, no matter what they've gone through. Excuse me. So for Shador, for Travis, Coach Prime, God bless you guys. I hope that you guys prove all the critics wrong. And he ended up with the Browns. The Browns it's almost like they're playing Ring Around the Rosie or having a merry-go-round with quarterbacks right now. I don't understand it, but um, hey, it's life. We don't own the system. We don't own the league. We do our best to try to operate within the confines and the rules that they decide to play. Um, can it be different? Possibly. Will it be different? Hopefully. If you saw my last episode, we Major Turner and I were talking about Major Turner and I was talking about things that matter to us, especially going forward. We were talking about, Georgia SB 202 voting rights law, and how people are being challenged every day for their voting rights. And I'm not gonna say it again. Y'all know I don't operate or move around in conspiracy. I don't. I don't make that my business. I don't make that my goal. I try to do what I have to do to make sure that mine are taken care of. Myself and mine are taken care of. However, I'm not dumb. I'm not blind. I see what's happening. I see what's going on. Speaking of which, uh, the Pope passed away. Okay, so besides, well, let me say this. I want to make sure I be politically correct on this because I don't want to get canceled before I get started good. So of course, the Pope passes away, and God rest his soul. I think he was 88. I think 88 years old. People call him the People's Pope. I'm not Catholic, but I do know that the Apostle Peter was looked at as the first Pope of the Catholic Church. I've always had questions about the way they operate over there. However, I'm not a Catholic, so I can't answer these questions. But I will say I just have a couple of questions. In modern times, in all the times that I've been here, and all the times I've seen popes come, I've seen popes go. I just have one question, and y'all come in the comments. Y'all can email me. I'll even put up the phone number. And I just want to know. This is no slight. This is no shade or anything like that. But I just want to know, and I know I'm not the only one who has this question on his mind. After the 9 days of mourning and the council, the I forget what they call them, everybody that's on their like their board, all the cardinals when they get together, will there ever be a black pope in modern times? Will we ever see a man with my color skin being the papal? What y'all think? It's a lot. We've seen, it's just like presidents. We've seen a whole lot of other looking presidents, but I'd like to know, what do you guys think? Do you think we will ever see a black pope? Do you ever think we'll see a pope that has dark skin? Yes, we've had, I want to say, Germans, Italians. I'm not sure about Russians or anything like that, but we have had popes of all ethnicities and all races besides a black person or a brown person or whatever the case may be. And so I'd like to know what you guys think. Come on in the comments. Um, let's hear it. Do you think that we will have a black pope in our lifetime? Now I know many of us probably thought that we would never have a black president, but we did. We were close to having another one. But I don't know. I just think about different leaders of different churches, and I think about where the future is. My big brother, Major Turner, like he said, he's already living in 2050. He works in intelligence, so he knows, pretty much where the world is going because that's what his job is to. Uh, I ain't gonna call him a prophet, but to prophetically see the way society is going with what he does, and I don't know. I think I would love to see it. I don't know about anybody else, but representation seems to be like something that I'm not saying we're starved for it, but at the end of the day, I don't think we get enough of it either. I think we get just a little bit. And let me go back for a second. I want people to understand this. Again, I personally am not a conspiracy theorist. Okay, my mom says she don't think we will have one. Okay, well, I don't know. We're gonna see. I personally am not a conspiracy theorist, but I can say this, and I say this with my whole heart, and I mean every bit of it. A lot of stuff that's happening right now, black people, we've had a story about this. We've had a show about this. I really believe a lot of it is to set us off. It's to tick us off. This whole Shador thing, it's other things that's been happening as well. That's right. Yes, sir. Equality. That's what it's all about. But I will say that I think that a lot of stuff that's happening right now is to get you guys to go into the streets. I've already made up my mind. I'm not protesting anything. I will continue to do what I've been doing. I will vote. I will. I will advocate. I will do all that I need to do. But I'm not risking my life or my livelihood by being in the streets, cutting a fool with these people. It's not worth it. I will protect myself. I will protect my family because believe it or not, I'm still trying to build a legacy. I'm still trying to leave something. Um, Pastor Sherry, it's a distraction. Yes, boots on the ground is definitely a distraction. However, it's well, it's a distraction. I can't call it anything else but that. But hopefully, some of us are dancing, but we're also keeping our eyes peeled at the same time. Hopefully, that's how it is. I see, I look at this stuff almost every day. And I take breaks on purpose because I don't want to make it an idol either. I don't want it to consume my life. I don't want it to consume me or anything like that because I still have to live. I still have to function with people that may not like me, that with people that may vote against my interest or things like that. I work in a white male dominated industry and it's extremely racist. Anybody who knows anything about trucking, ask a truck driver, they'll tell you straight up. And I don't even have a CB radio anymore. I have it's downstairs in my garage, but I don't hook it up because of all the hatred and vitriol and trash talk that's on there. And anybody who knows me personally know I love to trash talk, but I don't trash talk people um from um a malicious standpoint. Yeah, I may call you big head, or something like that. I may call you a little musty or something like that, but it's all in jest. But these people say stuff. They throw rocks and hide their hands, and they live in glass houses. I live and move and I work in those type of spaces. Like I remember right before the election at my job, people were putting like these fake $100 bills around, and they were propaganda. They were pictures of Donald Trump, our current president, and I'm like, we don't come to work for this, but I don't own the company. So I just go there, I collect my paycheck, and I go home. I don't try to, um, I don't try to fight against anything. Whatever they hand out, if it's not illegal or just or unjust, I don't worry about it. I just go and do what I got to do to make sure I take care of me. So speaking of take care of me, nah, I ain't gonna tell that part. I ain't gonna tell that part today. Speaking of take care of me, I got some great news last week. It was such a relief. I'm not gonna lie, I was angry about it for a long time, but I mean, that season is over with in my life, and I mean, it is what it is. I just praise God that I made it through without losing my mind. I'm just gonna say that. It's nothing bad, you guys. Again, send me a message or whatever the case may be when you if you want to find out. I started to make a post about it, but I was like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because I can see it going left. So I was like, no, I'm gonna let it be what it is. But just know I'm free. It's all I'm gonna say. I'm free, and I don't play. I don't get caught up no more like that ever again. Um, but it's life. Life happens. Decisions happen. So, excuse me. I promise I won't make that decision ever again. On everything I love, God knows I will never make that decision again. But after how many years? 23 years, I'm finally free. So anyway, what are y'all up to today? We still waiting on my big sis Nancy, because I really want to get this conversation in. I really want to talk about being black and being in Alaska. I see I know of people who have gone to Alaska for work and different things like that, but I haven't had the opportunity to do it. I know some truck drivers that actually drive up there. My old team partner, he was when before he came to work where we are now. Um, oh, let's see what you got. All right, then, Major Turner. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I know of people who have spent time in Alaska, and Nancy was one of those people, and she spent a great deal of time up there too. So man, I can't wait to have that conversation with her. If y'all don't know Nancy, Nancy's a sweetheart. Nancy is from Columbus, Georgia. I can't remember. I want to say she either went to Baker or Carver. I cannot remember. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to her about that today. But Nancy is a sweetheart. She is a songbird. She can sing. I want to ask her about the times that she was in the talent shows and things like that. Anybody from Columbus, Georgia, know we have legendary talent shows, and a lot of people that y'all know about were in our talent shows in Columbus, Georgia. I'll give you one in particular, Joe Thomas. That man, Mister All the Things Your Man Won't Do, Mister Love Sing, which is my favorite Joe song. Mr. Good Girls. He started singing in talent shows in Columbus, Georgia. The Columbus, Georgia is notorious for it's notorious for the things that we've done to people. Just ask Bobby Brown. Just ask LL Cool J. Just ask the Beastie Boys. They all understand about Columbus and our lewdness law and things like that. People have come to Columbus, people have gone away from Columbus, and people have left with a record because Columbus will lock you up if you get up on that stage and cut the fool. And cut the fool. But we've had some. I mean, and I forgot to say this. Young man that went to Hardaway High School, same Scott High School that my daughter went to, and went to the University of Georgia. Let me see. Not this way. University of Georgia. Michael Williams, congratulations, got drafted, and he will be playing for the San Francisco 49ers. I forgot all about that. Shout out to him. We've had a few that come through Columbus that go and play Major League Sports. Jarvis Jones, Isaiah Crowell, and now Michael, Frank Thomas, baseball player. Let me see, Otis Sistrunk, old school football player. We have had, of course, Frank Thomas, MLB Hall of Famer, grew up around the corner from where I used to live, over in Lindsay Creek. I guess you consider that Lindsay Creek. Um, Man, who else? He went to Auburn. He's one of the big three over there at Auburn. Uh, Barkley, Bo, and Frank. and I guess you could throw Cam up there too. So I guess four. Um, yeah, who else? We've had a lot of professionals to come out of Columbus. What's his name? Troy Bergeron. I think he went to Shaw High School. Um, Jarvis went to Carver. Frank went to Columbus. Isaiah went to Carver. So we've had some success when it comes to athletes, and it's a man. It's hey, I'm proud to be from Columbus, Georgia. I'm proud of that red clay. I'm proud of that mud. I'm proud of that river down there. That river is infamous too. The Chattahoochee River. Boy, the Chattahoochee has swallowed some people up, and I've seen it with my own two eyes before. But that's for another day, another time. But yes, I forgot about that. Young man got drafted out of the University of Georgia. University of Georgia had a great draft. I think we gave up 15 players this season, or 12 or it's 12 or 15 players. I can't remember. But yeah, if you enjoy college football like me, you understand that seeing young men make it is like the very best thing that ever. The very best thing ever. Them guys put in hard work. They start from like Edgewood and all of those little football the little football programs that we have in Columbus. Edgewood, shoot, I can't even think of all of them right now, but they end up playing in the Peanut Bowl and then going from there from elementary school to you pick your junior high school and where you want to play football. Then from junior high school, your high school. We've only had like two or three powerhouses in football in Columbus. Well, I can say four because my alma mater, Shaw, won the championship in the 2000s, and I think they won two in the 2000s. I think Carver has won two or three. Spencer hasn't won in a while, but that's Spencer is a school for older people. I don't know if Major Turner went to no, he went to school in Atlanta, but um yeah, Spencer was the first black high school in Columbus, Georgia, so it has its historic roots. But there's always rivalries between Spencer and Kendrick and Carver and all of these different schools. So you know, oh, here she go. Here go my friend. Hey.
Oh my gosh. This I'm the worst first guest ever.
It's okay. It's okay. We still gonna give you.
Oh my God. I'm having, it was telling me Safari this and like who is Safari? I'm here. Oh my goodness.
Hey, everybody. Let me give an introduction together. Okay, so
Okay.
this is my special homie, and Nancy and I. Now, the crazy part is Nancy and I are from the same hometown, but I only met
Yeah.
Nancy from being on Pastor Sherry's podcast. So, hey,
Hmm.
Nancy Denise, I'm not gonna take over your introduction. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because
Oh
only you
Lord.
can do it the way I can. I can't do it like you do it.
Oh gosh, I don't like introducing myself, but I'm Nancy Denise Smith. I love the Lord. I am a singer songwriter, soon to be author, working on getting finished with this book. I've been a current caregiver for my father who has dementia. I love God. I love people. I love poetry. I love to travel, and I'm all things music. That's the
You,
best I can do. And I'm a mother.
I've said mother and a grandmother.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
you didn't have to say, we don't use the G word. We say Nana.
Yeah. Nancy, let me say something.
No, I don't want you to say nothing. We say Nana, and that's it. That's it. That's
Listen,
all.
y'all younger grandmothers don't want to be called nothing. Y'all want to be called everything but
Yeah,
grandma.
you're right.
Gigi,
Yeah,
Nana, honey,
yeah,
sugar,
yeah.
but you still grandma though.
G mama in some country.
Grandma,
Not that.
no, not that.
Nah.
Okay,
Just Nana.
okay, Nana. Nancy, how you
Just
doing today?
Nana. I'm a little razzled because I would never have been late for your show. I've just been having, well, first of all, the internet has been glitching in and out today. And then I just couldn't get on. No, but I'm
It's okay.
here.
It's okay,
I'm
Nancy.
here.
I know you didn't
How are
mean it.
you
I know
today?
you're a very prompt individual. I know that you're
I
somebody
am.
that always do what you need to do. So I really appreciate you.
I do. I do. How are you, Daryl?
I'm doing great. Just got done being domestic, so I'm doing good.
Oh gosh. Dare I ask?
I was cooking. I was cooking, and y'all know I
Okay.
hate cooking. I hate cooking because I hate cleaning the kitchen. But I already loaded my dishwasher. All I got to do is turn it
Okay.
on when I go
Look
back
at you.
downstairs.
Hey, you got it together.
Nancy, so our show is I'm probably gonna cut my own part out. I'm just gonna use yours. Our show is about being black in Alaska. So let's first of all, let's go back a little bit. Let's let's find
Okay.
out what your origin and let's hear your origin and how you started. All the way from Columbus to in Alaska.
Well, I was born and raised in Columbus, Georgia, but my dad was military, so we did a lot of traveling. We did a lot of Kentucky. We were stationed in Kentucky. We were stationed in Alaska.
Hmm.
As a little girl, I went to kindergarten and first and second grade in Alaska.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then we got stationed back in Fort Benning. And
Oh,
so, yeah, and during that time, that's when my parents divorced and my mother raised us. I have five brothers. No, I have four brothers and a sister, five siblings. And that's where we were raised for
did
the rest of the time.
did you go to Carver or
Um,
Baker?
Carver High School.
Oh, so you didn't go to Baker. My bad. I put that out there by
No,
mistake.
my brother Ira and Jerry went to Baker.
I remember. Okay, so they're a little bit
Yeah.
older than you are.
Yes, yes, I'm the
Oh,
baby.
oh, okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay, okay. Well,
I
it's
mean, I'm the oldest, but I'm
of
the
course,
baby.
of course, of course. Listen, I got two sisters and a brother, so I get it. I understand. I
Yeah,
get it. So I trust
yeah,
me. I tell you, I
yeah.
get
I'm
it.
assumed. Yeah, I assumed the position, but yeah. So then life took me to Seattle, and I didn't stay there very long. And I ended up in a relationship and in Jackson, Mississippi, where I had my children
Hmm.
and did not want to raise them there.
Not
I
in
did
Jackson.
not want them to grow up in Jackson. And
Wow.
I said, And I got out of that relationship and I said, what am I going to do? Because I'm not staying here. I don't want my kids raised here. And I said, I'm just going to go to Alaska. At
Hmm.
the pastoring there. And
Hmm.
so we had talked, and he literally drove from Alaska to Jackson in a green Thunderbird, 1976 Thunderbird,
Your
and
dad
picked
did?
me and my children up.
You said your
My
dad?
dad did.
Wow.
My dad. Yeah. And
Wow.
so I took two boxes with me and four babies and went to Alaska. And that's when my life really started.
So your dad was there first, and then when so he decided to come back to down south, and that you
Yeah.
decided to stay.
Yeah, my dad pastored in Alaska for I think like 11 years, but my dad was in Alaska a long time,
Wow.
even before he started pastoring because my stepmom was from there. Small
Wow.
world,
That's
right?
crazy.
So, yeah, so they had been there a long time anyway. And so when he was ready to come back, Montgomery is home for him. So
Okay.
when he was ready to come back here, I was no, he was still in I was with him for at least 7 years up there before he decided to move.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah, I was his
no, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
I was his minister of music at his church. And then he left that he had a Baptist church, and then I moved over to the Church of God in Christ and became the music director over there. Dad came back to pastor a couple of years, same church because it was kind of falling apart.
Hmm.
And he only came back to kind of pull it back together. And then he came back here. But I stayed. I was in Alaska 28 years.
Wow. So that means you went through 28 winters.
I did. And I
So
thank God. I still thank God in my prayers for getting me through those 28 winters.
okay. So besides the weather, how what are the demographics of Alaska like? How many people up there look like you and I?
A
What
lot.
what part of Alaska were you in?
I was in Anchorage.
Anchorage. Okay, so capital.
Yeah. Juneau is the capital, and it's a small city.
Juneau. Okay. See, I
Yes,
don't know nothing
Juneau's
about
the.
Alaska. See.
Oh no, that's okay. Juneau is the capital, but it's much smaller than Anchorage. It's beautiful, but it's much smaller.
So did most of us get up there like through the military, or people just were born and raised there?
Whereas both, a lot of people come through the military, and there are a lot of Black people that were literally born and raised there.
Really?
Yeah,
Is
our
that Go ahead. No,
Yeah, go
listen.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Our one of the musicians, with the best musician up there. Nobody can believe it, but he was born and raised there. Does a lot of, did a lot of traveling.
Mhm.
But a lot of black people were born and raised there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by
Hmm.
that because I think growing up and being in school, nobody all we ever talked about was Eskimos, as people call
And
them, but I
and
don't know, they don't like being
igloos.
called that, right?
They don't like being called that. They like to be called natives because
Mhm.
it's their land.
Right.
So yeah, it's like a term that they don't really like. But they get a lot of benefits for being who they are.
Oh, yeah, because it's, they got a couple of major pipelines up there, right?
Yeah, my dad used to work on the Alaska
Yeah.
pipeline.
They got a
Yeah.
couple of major pipelines up there, and,
Hmm.
residents or is it natives or just residents or all residents get a little stipend from the government, right? Or the
Yeah,
pipeline.
it's called it's like an oil revenue. It's called the permanent fund dividend, and we got it once a year
Oh,
for
okay.
being just a resident. You just had to be there a year,
Mhm.
and and not just the parents. If you had 10 children, all 10 of them got a check.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they
Wow.
announce the amount of the check around the end of September
Mhm.
every year,
Mhm.
and they start doing direct deposits the second week in October. So people are
Wow.
pretty happy that time of year.
I
Yeah.
bet they are. But the problem
Yeah,
is,
there's
though, everything is high.
Well, it that everything is high, but one of the reasons I did stay so long is because Alaska pays very well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the children at McDonald's, the teenagers get paid 15, $16 an hour.
Wow. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
they're
So
starting to do that now in the mainland, but
yeah, well,
that
yeah, well,
they
yeah.
they they
But
starting
back
to.
then, though, you
Mhm.
know, that was pretty. They have so many different programs for youth, and Alaska is just the most amazing place to live. A lot of people that leave Alaska end up going back.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not Ness, not I, said the cat.
Nancy don't wanna deal with them winters up there.
Yeah, the winters had got to be way too much for me. Like the last winter, I pulled over on the side of the road and I cried. I said, God, please let this be my last winter. Because they're too long. They start Halloween, October
Mhm.
31st, always snows on the 31st, and they can last through May.
Ooh. Ooh.
Well, we like breakup happens at the end of March. That's the snow melting.
Mhm.
And then you think spring is there and it comes right back and it'll dump, and it has happened through the first week in May. So if you think about that, that's a long time to experience winter,
Yeah.
driving on ice, like thick sheets of ice, just isn't normal. But it's, Alaska's equipped for that weather though.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's still very stressful. It's a very stressful time of year. It's a lot of snow. If it snows here a little bit, they're closing down the whole city.
Right. Right. Right.
Alaska doesn't close. I remember us shutting down one time for a blizzard.
Right.
One particular blizzard was really, really, really bad. But that we've had blizzards before, and life is usual. It goes on as usual.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, okay, so you said a lot of people were born and raised there. You said one of the best musicians you've ever met lives there, was born and raised there. And Nancy said she's not going back because of the weather. More than is the weather
Because
the
of the
main
winter.
reason why you're not going to go back?
Okay, let me tell you, if I could live there, if I could be a snowbird, I'd go back. If I could live there in the summer,
Uh
that's
huh.
my favorite time of year there. Alaska is called the land of the midnight sun because the sun in the summer shines like the sun at noon here. It's
Mm-hmm.
bright
Mm-hmm.
at midnight. And I loved it. A lot of people couldn't get used to it. So you'll see a lot of homes in the summer with foil to
Mm-hmm.
the windows or something else that keeps the light out. But it never stopped me from going to sleep. If I could live there from mid May to October 31st, I would, because it's so beautiful. It's
Wow.
the best water to drink straight from the faucet on earth.
Really?
It's the cleanest water. It's the best seafood. I was totally appalled that I had to pay for salmon and halibut when I left,
Right.
because Somebody is always fishing and giving it away. Somebody's
Mhm.
always killing a moose with license on the side of the road and giving moose meat away. Somebody's, so you don't pay for that stuff in
Right.
Alaska. I mean, you do if you go to a restaurant, but everybody has a freezer full of halibut and salmon.
So basically, there really was no reason to go to a restaurant because I mean, you guys had
Unless
fast
you
food and
didn't
things
want to
like
cook.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But Alaska has some of the best restaurants on earth too.
really.
Oh,
Nancy, I'm telling you, you put me on to something because I promise you, I would never have thought about this because when you think about Alaska, it's disconnected from the lower 48.
it is.
Just like you don't really think about Hawaii like that, or Guam, or the U.S. Virgin Islands, and things like that. Most
Right.
people don't even leave like their area they live in. I know people who have never left Georgia. We know people that never left Columbus before.
I do too.
That's what I'm saying. So we
Like
know
that.
people who exactly
Yeah, that burdens me. like like I've got friends from high school that doesn't know what the outside of the county line looks like.
right,
They
right,
just don't travel. But yeah. Yeah, Alaska's a normal city too. Like it's got buildings and some of the prettiest movie theaters and stores and malls and neighborhoods. It's a normal place. Church like no other.
wow,
Some
wow,
of the most amazing singers are in Anchorage, Alaska.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about jobs? What do jobs look like up there?
Jobs are good in Alaska, especially the jobs that, like, I worked for years for Vico Alaska. It's one of the oil companies there.
Hmm.
Um, and so they generate a lot of jobs. A lot of people work on the slope because you can get that 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off, different schedules.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I mean, even the people that any job is a job, right? But
Right.
the maids up on the slope just make bank. It's just I used to do the hire paperwork for the guys and the women that went up to Red Dog Mine and Alyeska Pipeline and all of that, and just looking at their salaries made me dizzy. I mean, jobs are plentiful in Alaska.
Because we watch stuff like I'm a truck driver, of course, but so we watch stuff like what's that called? What's that road called? People call it the ice road truckers.
Um,
Yeah, ice road
is that the
truckers.
name of it?
Hmm.
Okay,
That's the name of it.
yeah,
This
okay.
trucker won't be riding on the ice road. I don't care what they paying.
Listen, I know that's right.
Because
That's
I
yeah,
once I saw somebody go down in one of them, because you never know what the ice is going to do. I mean, you can
yeah.
predict it, but you never know what it's going to do, right?
Right, especially black ice, because you
Ugh.
can't tell.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so I've done a lot of donuts in the road, and I'm a very, very, very scary driver,
Uh-huh.
and so I can really every accident that I had was not my fault because I drove in that right lane and took my time. But you have people with these big, big trucks that drive like it's the middle of July,
Yep.
and so it can be dangerous. I was my kids, they teased me today because I wouldn't let them drive as teenagers.
Wow. Up there,
Yeah,
especially.
up there especially. And my middle daughter went and got her license without me knowing. And one of a family friend who was our drummer at the church had to go to Guam
Mhm.
and left his truck with her. And she started driving in the middle of the winter, and I was a nervous wreck all winter. But she did great. But I just knew how dangerous it was. It's just, especially the first snow. You would think that people that have been there forever,
Right.
that first week of snow, there's people in the ditch. It's accident after accident, and then in February, let's see, January and February can get like to 26, 30 below. That's
Hold up.
that's
Time
just in
out.
Anchorage. I knew you was gonna time out me.
Time
I
out, time.
knew
Whoa,
you
whoa,
were.
whoa, whoa. Okay, so I
Yeah.
want you to repeat that. It could get what at what time?
26 January and February are the coldest months, and it can get 26 below. Now that's in Anchorage. Fairbanks, Alaska is colder and hotter than Anchorage in the seasons. So in Fairbanks, it can get like 40 below, 45. I mean, you take a glass of water outside and throw it in the air,
Powder.
it's powder, just powder. Yeah.
So you guys had to leave the house like that every day?
Yeah, it's normal. It's just, um, eh, let me tell you how Alaska is equipped for the winter, though. Most places have garages, and places that don't have garages, they have a place in every place you live to plug your car up
Right, right.
because it's just too cold. So, and then there you also can get like engine heaters to go on
Mhm,
your car at night,
mhm,
especially in January and February, the coldest months. So yeah, you start your car and you let it run 30 minutes before you leave because it's just so cold. It becomes a way of life. I know it sounds like a lot. Like when I first moved there, I was doing the high heels because I've always worked in corporate. So
uh-huh,
and always been in church. So my attire, my kids tease me, "Mom, you need some dress down clothes." But I was I was a church person, I was a director, and I was in corporate, so I always wore heels. I think the first couple of years I did the snow boots heels, where you
mhm.
take your snow boots and then when you get to work you put your heel, and then after a while I wore my heels all the time. I was I taught myself to walk on that ice.
But we're talking about knee-high snow, though. And Nancy, I don't know how you tall, you like 5'4"?
I'm just like 5'6".
5'6", so you 5'6", so you got ice snow that comes up to your almost your thigh, and you talking about wearing heels in that?
But they clean it though. You know what I'm saying? My paths were clean. They want,
Wow.
it's very equipped. If there's a heavy snow, they're out there in the middle of the night by the time morning come. Now, there's a part of where it gets really dangerous, and that's when it starts to get warm
Mhm.
and everything becomes just slick
Slush,
ice.
yeah, slush and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the side roads, excuse me, are slushy, but the main roads are ice.
Mhm.
And you can't even get any traction. And I remember
Wow.
calling my boss one morning and said, I can't even get off my street. And
Mhm.
she said, "Well, we really need you here." I'm like, "I am not about to do what you got to do. I'm not about to lose my life." You
So she
know,
wants you to have jump on a snowmobile or something?
I guess, but I didn't. I remember not. I made the decision not to go. I mean, it's dangerous, and
Right,
but and then you're waiting for them to come and put like dirt out so
right.
you can have some traction. So
Mhm,
that's a big business there. Big. Most people have a second job of putting what are the things that clean the snow. A lot of
mhm,
guys with trucks get those and go around the neighborhoods and
mhm,
you know, get paid for clearing people's driveways, and
mhm.
so yeah, it's a whole shebang up there, man.
Wow.
It's a
Oh,
different way of living, but if you do it a long time, it becomes like anywhere else. You just get used to it.
mhm, mhm.
You know,
So, I gotta ask this because I know a lot of people wanna know, how are relationships up there?
ugh, everybody's stuck with each other. Everybody's stuck with each other, man.
Said everybody's stuck with each other.
Oprah did this show that there was the most eligible bachelor. She did the show a long time ago. We're in Alaska. They must have been in other parts of Alaska because they weren't in Anchorage. Um, but yeah, you just kind of you meet somebody and you with that person too long. I might be telling on myself. I might not be,
Don't
but
worry about it.
yeah,
Go ahead. This is a safe place. This is a safe place, so you good.
cuffing season is 9 months there. It's because it's so cold. But yeah, I mean, relationships are beautiful up there. A lot of young people get married there, young.
Mhm,
I'm just this is my personal opinion. I think that an early 20-something-year-old, should be trying to figure their life out. But I saw a lot of young people in the church and stuff get married there, especially during the winter. But there's some couples there with longevity that a lot of marriages there that have lasted a long time, especially in the church scene,
mhm.
because they've been there all of their lives. So
So
black people,
they don't know anything else.
they don't know anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to, travel a lot? Did you go, like, to Canada or, what you call it, what's her name?
Yeah. Well.
What's y'all's governor name? Sarah Palin? Said she could see Russia from her
Oh,
house? Did y'all
right out the back door. Oh Lord, wasn't she a joke? But let's see. Can I say that on your show?
Yes, you can. Hey, yes, you
Yeah,
can. This is Daryl's show.
that was yeah, that was not a good thing at all. A lot of people travel. Me and my dad drove to Columbus like 4 times back and forth while I lived there. And so during that time, hmm
Nancy,
during that time,
that's 10,000
yeah,
miles almost.
yeah, dad was the avid traveler. He loved traveling, most patient traveler ever. Because back then, the highway to connect us to the lower 48, in Canada, it was called the Alcan, and it was 200 miles of dirt road. And it wasn't just dirt; it was bad. And so you had to really, really take your time to get over, and that took like 7 to 8 hours just to get through. It's fixed now and beautiful, but for years, that's how you had to travel, to get
Wow.
through. Yeah. So, but a lot of people travel. I took my kids on several vacations. And I went to Hawaii from there. I went on several cruises. Never did an Alaskan cruise. That's crazy. But I went on cruises isn't that crazy? Right there. And they're
Yes.
some of the most beautiful cruises in Alaska. Because all of my coworkers would go and say, I'm like, why are y'all going on a cruise? And we live here. They said
Right.
it's just different. It looks different. And I get it. I do want to do that. But yeah, a lot of people travel there. hmm We have an international airport, huge airport there.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
I was just about to ask about flights. I know flights have to be few and far between, right?
No, no. A lot of flights go in and out of. Like if you're going just to Seattle, that's a 3.5 hour flight.
Mhm.
Sometimes three, depends on tailwinds. But um, I've been to Alaska twice in the last 6 months. For engagements, I have another engagement in June. So from here, I'll fly out of Atlanta about five about 9 hours to get there, depending on
Really?
how long the yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
because I gotta go from Atlanta to Seattle
Mhm.
or Atlanta to Salt Lake to Seattle, and then,
Mhm.
the certain routes. And it depending on how long the layovers are. I'm a little quirky. I love airports and layovers. Then the flight to Anchorage is 3.5 hours from Seattle.
You on your own with them
Or
layovers.
there's a Minneapolis route too, and that flight is almost 6 hours from straight from Minneapolis to Anchorage.
So, okay, so Anchorage is the largest city, or is it Fairbanks?
I think Anchorage is bigger than Fairbanks.
Okay.
I'm
And
gonna
there
say Anchorage is. I may be wrong. I have to check that out, but because I've been to Fairbanks so much, I used to drive up there a lot from Anchorage. It's like a 6.5 hour drive. We sang and did workshops and concerts and convocations stuff up there
Nancy, you're literally sitting here normalizing Alaska for me because I
because it
never
is
thought
normal.
I never. Well, again, like you said, igloos and native slash what they call Eskimos. That's all we've ever known about. Like, and you see people with these coats on as thick as quilt made, and
Parkas.
yes, I mean it's
Yeah.
like, and it seemed like, do you be hot in those coats?
No, because it's so cold. You're comfortable. Yeah, you wear leggings under your jeans and a good pair of thick socks, a nice pair of boots with traction underneath, on a casual day. Um, yeah, I mean, going to church is easy because you're just getting out the car going, inside. So summers are hot though. They're hot to us because it can get up to 80.
Really?
So that's hot to somebody that's been in below zero weather.
Yeah, that's like a hundred and
And
forty degree, almost 120-degree swing from -40 up to 80.
yeah, and there are no like the homes there aren't built with air conditioning. So
That I did know that.
yeah.
And a
And
fan, a box fan costs pretty good money up there.
oh yeah, oh God, it's so hard. If you don't invest in one before summer hits, you won't find them anywhere.
Right, and I heard about
And
window units too, air conditioners are pretty expensive as well.
yeah, those are expensive. And Yeah, it's pretty rough in the summertime there. In August, I'm gonna say not the beginning. It's beautiful until
Mm.
it gets to August. Yeah, but
But if
every
go ahead, go ahead.
because of the winter, most homes are built with and apartments are built with the prettiest fireplaces. Everybody has a fireplace.
Mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
you guys driving from Columbus up there, I know you could have taken your own air conditioner if you wanted to, right?
could have never thought about it, but could have.
I mean, I'm just saying, if
Yeah,
I mean something that's $1,000 up there is 200 down here, and you're going back that way anyway.
true. That's a good idea, Daryl. I wish I had met you back then.
Listen, I'm telling you, we can get a truckload and go up there now and make some money.
Right, we sure
Only in
could.
the summertime, though. Only in the summertime.
Only in the summer.
Only in the
Only in the
summertime.
summer.
Tell them put their
Mm,
order in. I don't mind. Hey, I'll have my passport here soon. We can go to we'll drive through right through Canada and get on up there.
absolutely. Listen, can we talk about the moose?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, you walk outside and you might see cats and dogs
Mm-hmm.
everywhere else. And so we saw moose, and it's normal
Like it
for
ain't nothing.
them, like it's nothing. It's the best excuse to be late for work, though, because sometimes they're right at your front door
Really.
or they're sitting right by your car. Yeah. And they're
8 feet tall.
racks. Some of them
Yeah,
have
real.
these thick racks. Yeah, and I never got used to that. There's a video on my page. I'm going to send it to you tonight where I'm going to work. It's one of those really icy mornings, and one is walking directly towards me.
Really.
And I'm frozen. And again, I filmed him just, he looked at me and I looked at him.
He said
But
that's the ultimate
it's
standoff,
like
huh?
it's a normal thing. They stop traffic. My dad says they're not very smart animals because they will jump out in front of you
Right.
and you get fined. If you hit a moose in Alaska, you get fined.
Eh,
It's crazy, right? But how can you help it though?
right. So
You know,
they act like the deer down here, the white-tailed deer. They just run out in traffic. So that's how the moose act
oh
up there.
yeah, they don't care. They'll see a car coming and they're not a very they're not an animal. They're not coordinated. They run
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not really yeah. Yeah, and if their hair is standing up on their back, you're told to stay away from them. That's when the people throw rocks at them to try to get their attention, and their hair stands up, and they will stomp the life out of you. That's how they kill you.
What?
Yes, they attack you. They take their hoofs and get you underneath their body,
Uh-huh.
and look it up on YouTube, and they will stomp you until you're not moving anymore.
Wow.
But they don't bother anybody. So
Mhm.
when they're antagonized, and I don't mean you get what you get because it's tragic to die that way or to be terribly hurt that way.
Mhm.
But yeah, you can't do that to them.
So
Um,
I imagine people are actually like they go on disability and things like that dealing with moose if
oh
you're not
yeah,
careful. Yeah. Or
if you're not careful,
they have a funeral for you.
one or the other. One of the missionaries at the church that I went to, she was on her way home. See, a lot of people live in like Eagle River. That's like Phoenix City and Columbus.
Mhm.
So the cities that are beyond Anchorage, and so the only way to get there is the highway. It's icy, and she was on her way home from church one night, and a bull moose ran out in front of her, and she hit him, and he came through the windshield, and the windshield cut his body up so bad that his hoofs was in the back seat,
Wow.
and the moose was just laying on her. Tragic. Like how she lived, but
Mhm.
not only did she have to have her face reconstructed because of the metal that they put in her face, she had to leave Alaska because she couldn't live there in the winter because it whatever they put in her face made her face hurt really, really bad, painful.
Wow.
So she
Really?
ended up leaving. Yeah, oh, it's some tragic. I God, I thank you again. I mean, 28 winters, and that never happened to me. I've had them run out in front of me, and I've had to run off the road. You know what I'm saying? But that happens. Accidents and people and moose and all that happen a lot.
Mhm.
And you have to have a license to cut them up on the side of the road. This is kind of gory.
It's all good.
This
It's all
warning
good.
warning your listeners, but you can tell when one has died somewhere
Mhm.
because you can smell the blood,
Mhm.
and these professional moose cutter uppers. I mean, Daryl, they be out on the side of the road. I watched them do it one time. They know
Mhm.
they you know how we know how to cut a chicken up,
Mhm.
a whole chicken. They know how to cut a moose up. Now I never ate moose meat while I lived there, but when I was a little girl and lived there, my mom had an Oriental friend that used to make us moose shish kebabs,
Mhm.
and they were really good. So I liked moose meat as a child, but I tried it once and it was kind of gamey,
Mhm.
so I never ate anymore. But it's real big there though.
So
Moose burgers.
so the moose is the uh are they a nuisance? Are they are they a nuisance, or are they protected?
They
'Cause you said
can
you get
be
a
a
fine though.
nuisance.
You said you get a fine if you hit one,
Well,
right?
yeah, if you hit them, if they run out in front, you get fined for that. I don't know
What?
why that's like that. They you don't see them in the summer, but as soon as summer starts fading, they start coming down out of the mountains because they live in the mountains during the summer, and you can tell the whole family, the uncle, you can tell it because they different sizes, the babies. You
Mhm.
can tell when there's babies close by too, because the mothers get really, their hair stands up,
Mhm.
and they're looking around frantic. They're not, yeah, they're very weird animals in a way,
But they're
but
goofy though. They're very goofy.
they're not. I'm gonna send you a couple of videos. One of them, it's a real popular video of this one that got in the top, like somebody had an incline on their driveway, and the moose got in a fight with another moose on the top of the driveway, and they
Mhm.
both ended up on the ground scrapping, but sliding because they just don't have good coordination at all. So
Wow.
yeah,
So they were just meant to walk around and eat trees and grass all day long.
that's what they do. That's
And
exactly what they do.
and here y'all go up there throwing up buildings in their way, putting streets and roads all and
They're
traffic
like,
lights all in the
who
way.
do we think we are? Yeah. Funny story. There was one in our backyard, and I just didn't understand why he would not go away. And I said, just gonna have to call somebody. Well, who you gonna call? Because that's what happens. But this particular one, it was all big and I just got tired of it being in the backyard. My kids were there, and so my oldest daughter came to me. She was a little girl, and she said, "Mommy, I can tell you why he won't go away." I said, "Why?" Because Trey is feeding him. My son
Oh.
had been, Lord Jesus, I want to whoop him today. He had been giving him heads of my cabbage.
Oh, wow.
He would cut it up and they would eat it out of his hand, but I'd be at work and nobody would tell me. And so
Wow. So he made it a
and
pet.
so yeah, he that's Trey made it a home for him. And I went off. I said, if you feed him another morsel out of my kitchen. But
It
yeah,
so
that's why.
so he
He
finally got the picture and ran on
and
off.
he went away after Trey stopped feeding him. Yeah.
What?
Weird. Weird living, right? It's
Wow.
weird. You never get used to it either. It's always you're always in awe that such a massive animal is walking downtown in
Right.
the middle of traffic.
Right. And y'all
You
can't do
never get
nothing
used
about
to
it.
it. But wait until they go wherever they're going.
So
Everybody's taking pictures.
so what about bears? What about elk? What about
I don't see many elk, but bears in the last, after I left it, the year I was leaving got really, really bad. They would be in people's garbage cans. They would be in dumpsters, the black bear.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, they come down too. And
So
more
no
so, I don't,
grizzlies?
never seen a grizzly, just black. Now somebody may have, but they were mostly black bears.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it got really bad right when I was leaving. I'm like, I wonder what's making them be so plentiful now. They run downtown. It's just not normal. You know what I mean? That's how you live there, though. And this lady woke up and a mountain lion was on her porch. You don't
And they
see
eat your
them at all.
pets. Yeah, they eat your pets too.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. So that was a shock to Alaskans. So we started really being more careful because a mountain lion.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. But
um, culture wise, like what's the huge difference between the mainland and Alaska that you could tell like, okay, this isn't like that in the lower 48. Besides the weather.
mm,
Besides the weather, of course. And them chicks y'all getting up there.
mhm.
Cause I heard about them chicks. I heard those some nice chicks too.
They are, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one year they go up and down according to what's going on with the oil revenue. But I think one year they were like two 2,200. So everybody in the family
Easy money.
got 'em. Yeah, money, money, money. So I'm trying to think culturally how it's just such a normal place that I can't really say that I mean, because we have parks and playgrounds and malls and bowling alleys and churches for days. All
Church
the
life, like church life, we know how it is in the South. Churches
Oh,
can be a
baby,
little territorial.
Alaska church. Let me tell you, I'm gonna be honest. I've been gone since 2014. I miss church there. I haven't been in a church service like Alaska.
Okay, is that because do you think it's more and this is what I would think. Do you think it's more pure because there's not a lot of distractions, so to speak? Because down here we have distractions. We have things that are, you know,
No, I just really think that people think Alaska is so far away and they have an idea of what it's like. Like Church of God in Christ up there. Like I'll put it this way. I did a workshop with Dorinda Clark. Like all of the artists come to Alaska.
I know.
And
My
when
favorite
they give
guitarist went up there.
who was that?
Tim Mo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tim.
yeah.
Mhm.
One of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so people come to Alaska and when they come and see, like when Dorinda came and saw how amazing the musicians and singers were, this didn't end good, but she decided to do with the help of other people in the Dorinda Clark Cole and Alaska Mass Choir album. So we
Really?
recorded this album. Yeah. I'll tell you off camera what ended up happening, but it was an amazing experience because when they come up there, like somebody had sent John P. Key a tape of me and my daughters, and he told me when I saw y'all was from Alaska, he said I did the tape like I ain't listening to that,
Because look, he was
and
probably
he
thinking
said,
about cost and all that stuff, getting up there and getting back.
Well, he didn't think anybody could sing up there
Wow.
because you got this." And somebody said, "No, really. Put the it was a VHS.
Hmm.
Put it was video. Put
Right.
it in." And so, of course we ended up going and singing and recording with him, but he was blown away that people could sing there. So
Wow.
people got the news in the lower 48 and everybody would come to Alaska and we would have the best workshops. I had a 200 voice Anchorage Youth Chorale. My children were from 6 to 20,
Wow.
6 to 18, 20 sometimes. Yeah, huge, over 200 voices.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was just amazing. It's really they have the best fair. The time the fair comes around,
Uh-huh.
it's the biggest, most amazing. I think my daughter is planning on taking her girls there in August for her birthday. It's just amazing. And I can't really think of any. We got, let's see, highways. Um, there's nothing different, honestly. Now, the COVID really hit Alaska. And so when I go back home now, it's kind of sad. It's funny, I still call it home, but 28 years is a long time. But a lot of
Pretty much.
businesses didn't survive it. And
Wow.
so, yeah, a lot downtown is really sad. Like Nordstrom's closed. That was our main place to shop.
Wait a minute, Nancy. Y'all had Nordstrom's in Alaska?
Yes, we had Nordstrom's, J.C. Penney's.
What?
Sears. Yeah, it's just like a normal place.
I mean, I
Yeah.
okay, okay. I'm gonna take your word for it
You
because you've
remember
been
the
there.
restaurant Sizzlers
Absolutely.
with the good buttery toast, all you can eat
Yes, ma'am.
crab? Yeah, we had that. We have,
What?
oh my God. Yeah. Oh, there's a restaurant there called Simon and Seafords. That's amazing. Sits over the water. Glacier Brew House. Amazing. They've survived COVID. I was glad for that. Um, Snow City Cafe is very popular. You ever go there, you want to eat there for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Yeah, it's amazing. They have courthouses. It's, it's
So
so
they
I
pretty
can't
much have
say culturally.
everything.
Yeah, they have everything. Yeah.
Wow.
And the people there, it's a mixture, black, Latino, native, Mexican, because you also have major, well, they've combined the Air Force and the Army base now,
Mhm.
called J. Burr, but it
Mhm.
was Elmendorf, which is and Fort Richardson. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah, the best churches, best. There's a church on every corner.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Again, I think it's because we were always taught Eskimos, igloos, the Iditarod, dogs, dog racing, sled racing, and things like that.
Oh God. I did not like that Iditarod. It changed all of our lives. I mean, it
Really?
changed. Oh yeah, it changed. Now they didn't get enough snow this year to do it, so they literally had to fly in snow from somewhere else.
What?
Yep. They told me that when I was there a couple of months ago. They said, yeah, that they had to fly in. They had a very, very, very calm winter. Like it did, like it snowed twice real big. And that's not heard of.
But so up there, the snow was not in abundance. The ice is in abundance. That's what's really
Both, both. But when it stops snowing, like it'll snow real good all November. It'll snow real good half of December. And then it'll stop for a couple of weeks. Maybe you won't see snow again until like mid-January, but it's so much snow. And if they don't get out there and really clean it up, because it builds up on that. That's another thing too. It can be hectic there because the snow messes the streets up so bad, big potholes when it
Mhm,
melts,
mhm.
that all summer they got different traffic patterns because they're fixing the roads. So it can be, yeah, it's not normal to drive on pure ice, and it's really, really thick, but they put dirt on top of it. But it's still, ice is ice. You got to get you get a ticket if you don't. What are those things called? I lived there that long and can't remember. But I would just get all weather tires because I didn't
Mm.
like changing because you have to change your tires. You can't drive around in the summer. Um, the things in your tires that keep you from, nothing stops on snow though. If
Oh,
it's
you talking about the
if it's
chains, the
slip,
snow chains?
they're not the chains. They're little,
Oh, the spikes.
that- like something like that.
Okay.
Some people buy winter tires, and then when the snow goes away, they change to regular. I would buy all weather.
Mhm.
You wouldn't get pulled over if you had all weather. But I'm gonna think of what the name of those tires are. But yeah, I couldn't stand that headache. Cause yeah, it's just slippery.
28 years in Alaska. So and you came from Alaska and went where? You didn't go straight back to Georgia.
Oh no, I haven't been back to Georgia only to visit. I went to Arizona.
Okay. Okay. I know
Hmm.
that's a huge I know it can be 120 degrees at midnight in Arizona.
Yeah, it's awful. And
Oh,
and people would say, "How did you do it?" I couldn't. I know people looked at me funny when I first moved there because they were freezing and I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It
right.
was great weather to me, and they were freezing. But their idea of winter didn't affect me because my body had was so climatized to Alaska that I couldn't feel what they felt until a couple of years later. And it's the first place I experienced allergies
Mhm.
because I had been in Alaska for so long. Everything in Alaska is so clean, other than the time the volcano erupted and that was everywhere.
Mhm.
It's We don't have those issues where the air is not clean.
Right.
So yeah, Arizona was a shock to my body.
And you don't even have mosquitoes in Alaska.
Yes, we do. That's what we have.
Oh, y'all do?
As a matter of fact, we call the mosquito the Alaskan bird.
Really?
Yes, they're horrible.
I thought that
So
didn't.
we have
Where is
mm-mm,
it? Is it Hawaii that doesn't have mosquitoes?
I don't know, but Alaska has them bad. They're biggest
Really?
birds. Yeah, we call them the state bird. We call the mosquitoes the state bird. So our thing up there, no roaches or nothing. Let me tell you.
No
So my kids
flies,
were no flies,
just mosquito.
mm-mm, mosquitoes and moose. This is so embarrassing. My kids didn't know any better. You know, they've been in Alaska for years and we have to sing in Jackson, Mississippi, and they get to go home where they were born. And so we went over to a friend's house and she decided to cook for us. And you know, people in Mississippi, they just live how they live, right? Same as in Georgia. We grew up with roaches. My mom
Mm-hmm.
had us in some of the finest houses, but it didn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. A
Didn't.
roach is a
If you got
roach.
pine
Is a roach
trees, you
is a
got roaches
roach.
close by.
Right.
Yep.
My kids, oh my God. I'm so glad that my friend realized that they just were not used to it. They couldn't move. They couldn't eat. You know, they were coming down the wall and I was going, don't you say a word. And so when she set them at the table to eat, they were crawling
Oh
and she said, they're scared of the roaches. I said, yeah. I said, we don't have them in Alaska. They just didn't know. You know, they were babies when I took them from. I said, oh Lord, my poor babies are so sheltered.
God. I'm
So
sorry,
she got us
Nancy.
a hotel room. That was so sweet of her. And she took them somewhere else to eat. She put us up in a hole because we were going to stay with her, but they would have not made it. But so that's kind of the price you kind of pay when you raise your children somewhere and certain things they're just not used to, like
Right.
lizards and going to Arizona and a lizard is just a normal thing that gets in your house and crawls on stuff, you know. But they were grown and could handle it then, you know. It's just different. Just different, raised different.
So the name of this episode is Black in Alaska. Do you think you, as a black woman, single mother, living in Alaska, do you think you were able to thrive better up there or down here?
Up there.
Up there.
Up there. So every place I worked, I was the only black
That's crazy.
for and so I didn't have a lot of jobs. I had a few that I had longevity on.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I had to get used to being the only black at that oil company, the only black. The last 13 years, I worked for a law firm,
Hmm.
and I love some of them are still my closest friends today. But I had to just get used to it. That's how it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, unless you work for a certain kind of company somewhere else, it is predominantly other,
Hmm.
not just black. So
Did you
yeah, I
feel
thrive.
did you feel any of the discrimination or possibly even racism like we feel down in the lower 48?
Well, I did from a particular boss the last 8 years of that
Hmm.
job. She was
Hmm.
native though,
Ah,
and
okay.
so she came in, you know, everybody in there was amazing, but she just came in with this air because she was native, and once you get into a position as a native, they can't fire you.
Really?
Yeah, so she got away with a lot and tried to make life miserable, especially for me because I was the black girl.
So I was about to
But
ask, was it just the black people or just was she against like that against everybody?
she was like that against the black people and the Spanish people at the office,
Really?
not the white people.
Okay. I know who she is.
But
She's
but
white
the
leaning.
white people were angry because of the way. So we got a lot of backing.
Mhm.
One of the the lawyers with the name on the wall. One of them quit because of the way she was treating me, and they wouldn't get rid of her.
Wow.
So I experienced that racism.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But is it
Yeah.
prominent? Is it like everywhere though, or this just is it?
I
It
didn't
has its
hear.
pockets.
I would hear of it, but I didn't hear of it like it was super super bad. But it happens because I've had other attorneys. So we did workers' compensation, but we represented the company, the insurance company, not the person that got
Mm.
hurt, right?
Mhm.
So we'd have depositions in the office, and some of the lawyers would come in there. After you've worked at a place for 13 years, even for years, 5 years, everybody kind of knows what's going on everywhere. And I've had some of the white lawyers come to me and whisper, "Come work for me. You don't deserve this."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
heard what happened. If you can't take it here, you can come work from. I'll never forget getting those amazing offers. One of the highest lawyers wrote me a letter of recommendation. She said, "Use this and don't stay." But I was just determined
Mhm.
that I'm not going to let you run me out of this company.
Mhm.
I worked there 5 years before she got there, 5 or 6 years before she got there, and my work was impeccable. I mean, I'm not being funny, but it was.
Mhm.
When I was evaluated once a year, perfect. And nobody had an issue with me but her. And I told her one day I came in this company with integrity and I'm going to leave with integrity. She did everything she could to fire me, and I won. I gave her a 2-week notice at the beginning of August 2014, and I walked out of there like I walked in. It was so many benefits on that job. I needed that job. When I started, Daryl, I started with 4 weeks of vacation.
Wow. Okay.
And because we were traveling, me and the girls did, I needed that job. And then after you worked there 5 years, it went to 5 weeks. And then you maxed out the next year at 6. So I had 6 weeks of vacation. There, you got your birthday off, the floating holiday. You could choose which day you wanted to be off. I asked them why we didn't get Martin Luther King
Mhm.
off, and they took it to a board meeting. I said, "Hey, why are we working today?" To the big guys. It was Russell, Wag, Gabbard, and Bazinski. I asked Wag,
The
"Why are we
partners.
working?"
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "It is a national holiday.
Right.
It's Martin Luther King Day. Everybody else is off except us." And he said, "I'm going to take it to the board now. We'll be back." So after that year, well, that day he came back and said, "You can go home. We're going to pay you for the rest of the day." But he only let me go home.
Wow.
I said, "It's not." And I told, I'm so bold sometimes. I said, "It's not a black holiday, Rick." I said, "It's a holiday for everybody."
Everybody, right.
Yeah. So after that year, it was beautiful to see that we got that holiday off. But I wasn't letting her run me out. That was a good job, and I wasn't going nowhere until it was time.
I don't blame you. Sure, when you found something good, yeah, hold on to it.
Yeah, it worked for me. It worked for
Wow.
me. Yeah.
Okay. If
Yeah.
if somebody was interested in moving to Alaska, what advice would you give them? And I'm gonna wrap it up because I know it's getting late over
Okay.
there.
Okay. I would say go prepared to live a different life.
Mhm.
It'll look the same as anywhere else, but winters are very long. So, if you're an outdoors person, most people are able to hang with Alaska because they hunt or they fish
Mhm.
or they ski or do all of that stuff. Well, I didn't. And, so we ate in the wintertime, because that's all it was to do because we weren't outdoors people, but I would just tell them it's a beautiful place to live. Um, I learned so much in Alaska. A lot of my fear, I wasn't driving before I moved to Alaska. And a man from a Seventh-day Adventist church gave me a car, and I had
Wow.
never driven. And he said, "If you come to my house, I'll give you this car. You don't owe me nothing. I'll sign the title." My girlfriend took me over there, and when he gave me the keys and the title and everything, I'm just waving. I was wanting him to go in the house because I've never driven. But in my mind, I thought I could. I can't believe I'm saying this on your show.
It's okay.
I'd never driven before, and I was like, "Lord, please let him go in the house. I think I know how to back up." I was in my early 20s, and I just learned so much there, and I grew spiritually there, especially under my Bishop C.D. Williams. He's gone now, but the people are very nice there. There are so many opportunities and programs there. They had the Job Training Partnership Act, JTPA, and every time one of my kids turned 14, I put them to work. So my kids have a very good work ethic. They've
Mhm.
been working since they were 14. The schools are amazing. It's just a good place, especially if you have children, to raise kids. The churches are plentiful. Um, like I said, the water is clean. You don't have to buy bottled water there. It's the
Wow.
cleanest, best tasting, and it's cold like it's been sitting in the freezer all year.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, it's an experience. If you can handle the winters, it's an experience. I had my feel, but I would never talk anybody else of not moving there, or at least everybody should at least visit Alaska because it's amazing.
And you said their relationships are in abundance up there. We'll talk about that
Yeah,
later,
people
Nancy.
people are together. I'll say that.
People are
Ooh,
together. Okay. Nancy, I really
yeah.
appreciate you.
I appreciate you. I'm so sorry that I had the technical difficulties. I've
It's
been
okay.
looking forward to this for weeks,
Did
and I'm proud of you. I love your show. I love the way it looks and what you've done with it. I hope you'll invite me back one day.
I will. Pastor Sherry
Okay.
said, "Hey, did you see her?" She said, "Hey, look, there you go.
Hey,
Look,
sugar. I can't
Th-
see nothing.
you can't see it.
I can't see any of the. I,
Oh,
ca-
you,
we'll talk because like on my other device it said I needed Safari. On this one it said I needed something else. So I don't think I'm getting everything that I
okay?
should
It's
probably see,
okay.
but we'll fix it the next time. I should have went over this with you yesterday,
It's
but it's
all
all
good.
good.
It's all
Thank
good.
you so much for having me. I've enjoyed talking about my years there.
T-
It was a beautiful experience. I'll never forget it. I'll always be grateful that I raised my kids there because they have a total different life than they would have had in Mississippi.
and you got
I'm not
zero.
saying anything is wrong with Mississippi, but
Mhm.
I didn't want to raise my kids there.
You got zero complaints. You got zero regrets about Alaska.
I don't think I would have stayed that long. I just think after a while that the winter started getting to me and I needed to do some traveling, and it's always, yeah, it was just time. I stayed 5 years longer than I should have.
Mm,
And so it was time for me to, sometimes it's time to leave a place.
right.
And it doesn't mean that it's because it's so bad, it's just time. And I stayed longer than I should have. But yeah, no complaints. I
So,
was well taken care of. I was blessed in Alaska.
so anybody that moves to Alaska, you would 100% co-sign and say, if you can handle the winter, you can handle everything else.
Absolutely.
Well, people, y'all hear it straight from Nancy's mouth. Oh, and look out for the moose. Always look out for the moose.
Just look out for the moose.
The moose are your
Don't,
enemy.
yeah. And don't mess with them. Just look at them,
And don't feed them your cabbage.
please.
Nancy, I appreciate you coming
Yeah,
on here.
thank you.
I
Thank you for
do.
having me.
I love you
Thank
and I
you.
thank you.
I
Of course,
love you too.
we're probably going to end up getting together soon. On Pastor Sherry's show. So
Absolutely. I'll see you
yeah,
soon.
okay.
All right, Daryl. Thank
God bless
you.
you.
God bless you too.
All
Bye bye.
right. Well, everybody, I was able to get an hour and a half out of this. Nancy came in. I learned a lot about being in Alaska. Well, you guys, no one called. No messages. We appreciate everybody for watching. Somebody gave me a thumbs down today. I see you. I don't know who you are, but I see you. I love you anyway. So, man, I just want to say this is the Daryl Show, and I'm really glad that you guys were able to come and kick it with me today. Next week, I don't know what's gonna happen yet. I have something in mind, but we'll see. I might let y'all in my business again, so we're gonna see. But you'll know before the week is out. God bless you guys. I hope you have a great week. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can always email me. You can always inbox me, whatever the case may be. I just want to say I love you. Keep your head up. Do your thing. Stay out them streets. If them streets ain't got nothing to do for you and you ain't got nothing to do in them streets, I'm about to go down here and eat this delicious meal that I cooked. Okay. Um, God bless you. God keep you. And I'll talk to you later. Peace. Hey, little Musty. My bad. I forgot. I was too busy trying to get up out of here because, I'm off to the next thing. Check this out. I forgot to tell you, I need for you to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys being here. Every time you see this chocolate man with these headphones and this doggone black glasses, you know you're finna get some good quality content. We over here talking with some sense over here, okay? I want you to let all your people know. Tell them to meet me every Sunday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, every streaming platform you can find. please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your support, and I thank you. I catch you next time. All right, peace.